This is the OTB Network.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Horses and Courses. I'm Jean Wood. We have had a very busy weekend of stakes racing action from all around the country. We're going to have some exciting racing from New York and California, but before we get there, we're going to start with opening night at the Meadowlands and the running of the Pegasus for 3-year-olds running for Grade 3 status, $300,000. Let's head to New Jersey and the running of the Pegasus.
And they're off in the $300,000 Pegasus Stakes. And here comes Tales of Glory with early speed. Tales of Glory from the inside. Zacosity is headstrong early, and running along is Rat Like Cunning, running along with Tales of Glory. Rat Like Cunning is second, with Zacosity backing away there in third and saving ground. 3 wide is Pies Prospect fourth as they round the first turn. That's Golden Look fifth between horses. Up on the outside comes Swing for the Fences. Dropping back near the back is Navesink River, followed by Eddington, racing from the back here. Only 5.5 from front to back, 23-2 for the opening marker, and they race down the back stretch. Rat Like Cunning on the outside, and towards the inside, it's Tales of Glory. Tales of Glory and Rat Like Cunning running together. 3 wide is Pies Prospect third. Right there is Zacosity fourth. Between horses, Golden Look is fifth. It's Swing for the Fences sixth, just 4.5 from the lead, and then it's Navesink River from the inside, starting to roll from the back of the pack. Eddington now 3.5 from the lead as they continue up the back stretch. Off a half of 46 3/5 onto the far turn. It's Zacosity on the inside, Tales of Glory. Here comes Pies Prospect on the outside, and now gaining steadily is Eddington. Eddington now committing 4 wide and begins a bold rally as they pass the quarter pole. 1:10 for 3/4, and they get set to set sail for home here. Eddington 3 wide with good momentum, dealing with Pies Prospect on the outside. Eddington, Pies Prospect, they're in the stretch of the Pegasus, and Eddington is still all out. Pies Prospect is battling back on the inside. Zacosity is third, and then it's back to Golden Look, followed by Navesink River. A good battle to the finish here. Pies Prospect digging in. Eddington on the outside. Pies Prospect will hold on in the Pegasus Stakes over the favorite Eddington. Photo for show.
Pies Prospect, disappointing 14-length loss last time in the Pennsylvania Derby to Love of Money after having finished third in Haskell. Here returns to much better form with a neck victory over the hard luck Eddington, who has been finishing third an awful lot lately. Here moved up to second, but still not quite getting the victory that those backers who bet him down to nearly even money favoritism were looking for. Zacosity shows good speed. After having been steadied on the first turn, does show fairly strong willingness to go on, but has to settle for third in a fairly solid field of 8. The winner, Pies Prospect, is a chestnut 3-year-old son of Crafty Prospector from Hot Pillow by Bates Motel. Bred in Kentucky by Gordon Wooten and Mary Lou Wooten. Owned by Robert V. LaPenta and trained by Nick Zito. Ridden to victory by Edgar Prado. Pies Prospect covers the 1 1/8 at the Meadowlands in 1:48 We're going to head next to Philadelphia Park in the running of the Grade 2 Cotillion for 3-year-old fillies. The Cotillion with a $250,000 purse at 1 1/16. Let's head to Philly in the running of the Cotillion.
And they're off. Ashado came out in good order. And her sister from the inside up to grab the early lead. Ashado will move just to her outside. At the inside, My Lordship is in 103rd. He Loves Me has come out and will take the 4th position. And at the back of the pack are Pilfer, Fait Accompli, and Catboat. And her sister up front looks like she is being allowed to establish a comfortable pace. She leads it by 1.5 lengths around that first turn. Ashado is content to sit in that stalking position. The opening quarter was very moderate in 23 4. On the inside, My Lordship with a ground-saving trip. She is sitting just off the lead at the inside third. He Loves Me is backed off just a bit now. He Loves Me is sitting fourth, and she is now almost 5 lengths off the lead. Pilfer is beginning to make a steady advance down inside. Fait Accompli has 6 to make up, and the trailer remains Catboat, but she is beginning to lengthen her stride now as they're through the opening half in 47 3. Just less than 3.5 furlongs to go. Ender's Sister's going to try to steal this one from Ashado, and with 3/8 to go, it's Ender's Sister still on top by 1.5 lengths. Ibarcoa has been just to the outside with Ashado every step of the way, and he's now asking the filly to move as they come toward the quarter pole. On the inside, My Lordship could not stay with the top 2. He Loves Me on the outside, poised for the stretch run. Catboat is making a bit on the outside. But as they turn for home, Ashado just gobbles up Ender's Sister. And inside the 8th pole, Ashado is beginning to stride away. Ender's Sister comes to the outside, but Ashado just under a hand ride, pulling away by 2.5 by 3. Lone Star of the Breeders' Cup Distaff is next. Ashado under the line, a 3-length winner. Ender's Sister was second, My Lordship was third.
Ashado in a bit of a walkover here. It was Ender's Sister, who has been competitive against some pretty nice fillies, running the setting the early pace with Ashado just off of her, making a 3-wide move to a 2 3/4 length victory over Ender's Sister. My Lordship showing fairly good early speed and holding on for the 3rd spot at 12-1. The winner, Ashado, a dark bay or brown 3-year-old daughter of St. Bellato from Goulash by Mary's Book, was bred in Kentucky by Aaron and Marie Jones, owned by the Starlight Stable Limited and trained by Todd Pletcher, obviously a multiple Grade 1 winner this year and one of the leaders of the 3-year-old division. Covers the mile in a 16th under Ibarcoa in 1 minute 41 3. We're going to head next to Indiana for a pair of stakes races going back to last Friday night for the Indiana Breeders' Cup Oaks, a Grade 3 for 3-year-old fillies that drew a Grade 1 field. Let's head to Indiana, the running of the Indiana Breeders' Cup Oaks.
And they're off in the 10th running of the Indiana Breeders' Cup Oaks. And from the inside, it's Cape Side Lady first out for the lead. But from the outside, Storm's Darling breaking quickly and taking command. From the outside, Daydreaming showing early speed. And there goes Stellar Jane up between horses. Down to the inside, Cape Side Lady. Adobe Gold coming away in 5th, 2 lengths on the inside to Lunes Grito. And the trailer as they enter the clubhouse turn, it's Sloopy's Storm. 23-2 the quarter time, and it's Cape Side Lady. Cape Side Lady with a short lead by 3/4 of a length. Storm's Darling is there to the outside, pressing on in second. And now Stellar Jane settles in on the outside in stalking position 3rd. 2 lengths in 4th to Daydreaming. To the inside 5, Adobe Gold. And to her outside in 6th is Sloopy's Storm. The trailer is Lunes Grito, and she's just 5 off the lead. Down the back stretch, and it's Cape Side Lady. Cape Side Lady maintains her lead with Storm's Darling still there to the outside. The half in 48 seconds as they move on to the far turn. And now Stellar Jane moves up alongside the leader as they enter the far bend. Cape Side Lady on the inside. Storm's Darling is right there between horses. And Stellar Jane is set to strike from the outside. Daydreaming on the outside moves up in a striking position. Top of the stretch, they turn for home with Ford Cross here. Cape Side Lady on the inside. To the outside, Stellar Jane is now moving up between horses. And here comes Daydreaming. Final furlong to go. And down the stretch they come. The Indiana Breeders' Cup Oaks. And on the outside, Daydreaming forging to the front. Daydreaming taking command. And Daydreaming is stepping away. Daydreaming will win the 10th running of the Indiana Breeders' Cup Oaks.
A number of these fillies had been running in some pretty good company, including Daydreaming. The winner here by 1.5 lengths had run second last time out in the Gazelle to this event's favorite, Stellar Jane, who did have to settle for 3rd in this field, but a very good group of 3-year-old fillies leading the way home here with Daydreaming, possibly earning herself a spot in the Breeders' Cup Distaff with this victory under John Velazquez. Early pace setter, New York bred, Cape Side Lady, ran on very well to keep her head in front of Stellar Jane for the 3rd spot. The winner, Daydreaming, is a 3-year-old bay daughter of AP Indy from Get Lucky by Mr. Prospector. Bred in Kentucky by Ogden Mills Phipps and owned by Mr. Phipps, trained by Shug McGahee, and ridden to victory by John Velazquez. Daydreaming covers the mile in a 16th at Hoosier in 1:43 3. We're going to continue now with stakes racing action at Hoosier with the Indiana Derby, a Grade 2, $500,000 mile and a 16th for the 3-year-olds. Let's head back to Indiana and the Indiana Derby.
And they're off in the 10th running of the Indiana Derby. From the front side, as anticipated, Edrin and Tommy Pompel try for the lead. To the inside, Hassle Free, showing good early gate speed. Avid Skier right there between horses with Perfect Moon in 4th. To the inside 5, Pollard's Vision. To the outside, Quinton's Gold Rush, followed closely by Suave. Then it's Sir Shackleton, who's running second last. Brass Hat is the early trailer. Into the clubhouse turn on the front with a lead, Hassle Free there by a half length. Avid Skier on the outside is there pressuring in second. Pollard's Vision now blocked in behind the leader, running in third. And moving up on the outside, Edrin. And going wide of the outside, Quinton's Gold Rush. And wider still is Suave, who's far on the outside. The quarter time is 22-4. They continue down the backstretch on the outside. Outside, Quinton's Gold Rush and Shane Sellers by just a half length. Suave is there pressuring in second now as Hassle Free drops back to the third spot. Pollard's Vision continues to run the rail in the fourth. To the outside 5 is Avid Skier. Closer to the inside, Perfect Moon as they make the far turn. On the outside is Suave with a short lead. The halftime was 47, and on the inside, Hassle Free is second. Sir Shackleton and Bejarano up into striking position. To the outside, Brass Hat from last is there with Pollard's Vision looking desperately now for running room. Past the quarter pole, and on the outside, Suave has taken the lead. Here comes Brass Hat, and Brass Hat is all out taking command, and Brass Hat at 10-1 has taken the lead as they come to the 16th pole. It's Brass Hat, Suave to the inside, Hassle Free, but it's Brass Hat and Willie Martinez to win the Indiana Derby.
Brass Hat, probably one of the most underrated 3-year-olds in the country. This guy broke his maiden in the Rushaway Stakes at big price, at big odds earlier this year. His last race was in the Ohio Derby, a Grade 2, which he won back on June 12th. Has not run since that time, returned here at 10-1 with a last to first move under Willie Martinez over Suave, with Hassle Free showing very good early foot and holding on well at 29-1 to finish third. The favorite in the field, in fact, scratched from the Pegasus to ship out for this race, was Pollard's Vision, who was a little bit disappointing. He did race inside of horses in the early going before weakening under John Velasquez to finish well back, 6th in the field of 9. The winner, Brass Hat, is a 3-year-old gelded son of Prized from Brassy by Dixie Brass. Bred in Kentucky by Fred Bradley, owned by the breeder and trained by William Bradley, ridden to victory by Willie Martinez. Brass Hat covers the mile in a 16th and 144 flat. We're going to continue now with stakes racing action from the Midwest. This time we're going to head to Hawthorne in the Chicago area and the running of the Hawthorne Gold Cup. Grade 2, $750,000 mile and a quarter for the older horses. Let's head to Hawthorne and the running of the Gold Cup.
They're off in the 68th running of the Hawthorne Gold Cup, and Powerful Touch along the inside left for the lead. Questar down along the rail. Here's Perfect Drift now, 3 off the rail moving up, and on the outside Kissin' Saint came away 4th. And on the outside it's Sonic West 5th, came in 6th, and the early trailer is Free for Internet. Under the finish wire for the first time, a mile to run in the race. Questar on the inside, Powerful Touch between horses. These two heads apart for the lead. Perfect Drift tracking 3 wide in 3rd. Then on the outside, Kissin' Saint racing 4th. 2 now 3 lengths behind the leader. Then it's 5 more back to find Sonic West, followed by Cayman, and far back trailing is Free for Internet, and Free for Internet already more than 20 lengths behind the leader with less than 6 furlongs to run. They begin their run up the backstretch. On the inside, Questar. Powerful Touch right there between horses. Perfect Drift still racing 3 wide, a half length behind the leader. These 3 now covered by a length and a half. Then it's a 5-length gap to find Kissin' Saint racing 4th. Sonic West trying to rally on the rail 5th, still about 7 from the leader. 4 more back to Cayman, 10 more back to the trailer. Free for Internet. Less than a half mile to run. There's still 3 across the track. On the inside, Questar. Powerful Touch between horses. Perfect Drift is 3 wide. And they move around the turn, and Questar still has the lead. Perfect Drift on the outside now attacks in 2nd. Powerful Touch back to 3rd. Sonic West picks up the leaders, moving strongly on the outside 4th. Now coming on 3rd. Around the turn, they're in the stretch. Questar on the inside. Here's Perfect Drift, and Perfect Drift puts his head in front. Questar trying to fight back along the inside. Sonic West now on the outside. And from far back, Free for Internet is closing ground on the far outside. Here comes Free for Internet. And Free for Internet, far back early, takes the lead in the stretch with a 16th to go. It's Free for Internet. Perfect Drift back to second. Sonic West third. Free for Internet and Greta Kunzweiler to win the 68th running of the Hawthorne Gold Cup. Perfect Drift was second. Sonic West third. Questar fourth in 2:03.34. It's Free for Internet in an upset.
Free for Internet makes Perfect Drift probably the hardest of the hard luck horses this year. This guy has spent most of his time on the turf, and here switches to the main track at 1.25 miles, becomes racing's newest millionaire with his length and 3/4 27-1 victory under Greta Kunzweiler. Perfect Drift looked like he might have it sewn up. Got to the top of the stretch and just could not continue on with the momentum that carried him there under Pat Day. He has now run several consecutive good second place efforts without getting a victory this year. Sonic West coming in here from Turfway Park, picking up the third spot. The winner, Free for Internet, is a 6-year-old bay horse, a son of Tabasco Cat from Dixie Chimes by Dixieland Band. Bred in Kentucky by Edward P. Evans, owned by Equirace.com Limited and trained by Mike Maker. Ridden to victory by Greta Kunzweiler, Free for Internet covers the 1.25 miles at Hawthorne in 2:03.1. We're going to pause now for a brief message, and when we return, we've got an exciting group of stakes racing from the opening weekend at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. Please stay tuned.
This year, many thoroughbreds, no longer able to compete, join the ranks of racing's homeless. Since 1982, the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation and its supporters have been providing help and hope for those in need. Creating opportunities where once there were none, the TRF, together with the racing industry, is meeting the challenge, taking care of their own. Yesterday's innovative concepts, combining the TRF's rescue mission with educational and rehabilitation goals, have become today's life-saving success stories and a track record of unsurpassed growth. Safely retired thoroughbreds are now enjoying second careers, bringing responsibility, healing, and purpose to the lives of those who need it most. With your help, we can continue our saving mission, ensuring many more horses the welcome home they so richly deserve.
Welcome back, everyone, to Horses and Courses. We're going to continue now with stakes racing action from California, kicking off with the Grade 1 Yellow Ribbon. For 3-year-olds and up, fillies and mares going a distance on the turf. Let's head to California and the running of the Yellow Ribbon.
They're all set for the Grade 1 Yellow Ribbon. And away they go to a perfect start. Notting Hill quickest into stride, and as expected will go off to set the pace out here. On the outside, Ho Buzzard is showing early speed, and Good Student goes up between those two. Cat to Gone is perfectly placed fourth in the pink colours down at the rail. Outside of that comes Vose de Cogilo has the white cap. Rocher de Noche's inside of her. Then comes Tangle. Up alongside of that is Amarama. Light Jig races between horses towards the rear, gives them 6-length start, and then another 6 back to Good Student. Coming past the stands first time round, and Notting Hill sets the pace, leads at 1.25 lengths. Good Student has now gone up to race in the second position. Just in behind those two comes Ho Buzzard in the white cap on the outside. Cat to Gone scraping the paint is now taken third, only 2.5 off the leaders. Then comes Tangle, gone up to race in fifth. Behind that, Vose de Cologia. Inside of that comes Noche de Rosa. Light Jig is racing back third last, giving them 9-length start. Then Amaroma, and a big gap of 7 back to Cozy Advantage. Down the back stretch they go in the Yellow Ribbon, and Notting Hill opens up to lead it by 4 lengths now. Good Student is in second. Cat to Gone now starts to move up closer down at the rail. Close up fourth is Ho Buzzard, and Light Jig now quickly moving into contention. Light Jig has gone up to race fifth, 5 lengths off the leaders. Then it's Tango. Rocher de Nosa, they've taken much closer order now. Vose de Coloria on the outside. Amarama starting to roll in the white cap. They come into the top of the lane. Notting Hill by 2.5 lengths to Good Student. Cat to Gone down at the rail. Light Jig has the white sleeves on the outside. Ho Buzzard. In behind that comes Tangle and Amarama. Homeward bound in the Yellow Ribbon, it's wide open. Light Jig now bursting to the front, and Light Jig, an electric electrifying turn of foot suddenly puts them away. Here's Tangle coming with a late run. Captagon and Good Student. But Light Jig is absolutely scintillating in the yellow ribbon. Light Jig romps home. Tangle will be second. Captagon was third. And Good Student holds on for fourth.
Light Jig returns to superb form here with a 4-length romping victory as the favorite over Tangle. Cat Dog Gone very close behind for the third spot, just getting her head in front of Good Student to maintain position there, but much better effort here from Light Jig. It was disappointing last time out in the Maybe in a rather strangely run race for her, but obviously that was a bit of an aberration. She returns here with a nice Grade 1 victory in a race that her dam, Nashmiel, finished second in 1987. Light Jig is a 4-year-old bay filly, a daughter of Danehill from Nashmiel by Blushing Groom, bred by Juddmonte Farm in Great Britain, owned by Juddmonte and trained by Bobby Frankel. Ridden to victory by Renee Douglas, Light Jig covers the 1.25 miles on the firm turf in 1:59 and 1. We're going to continue now with stakes racing action in the Grade 2 Goodwood for older horses. This is a nice race. It's really turned into a very important race on the West Coast for the older horses heading into the Breeders' Cup Classic. Running 1 1/8 miles on Saturday. Let's head back to Santa Anita now and the running of the Goodwood.
And away they go. On the inside, Californian broke away smoothly, but doesn't want to go for the lead. Up alongside Lundy's Liability, and now here's Total Impact on the outside, running up alongside of the lead. Super Blitz in the orange tucks in just behind them with Truly a Judge. Only 3 lengths would separate all 5. Into the first turn they go, and Total Impact now goes on with it. Lundy's Liability keeps him company. Those two go a sensible pace. They lead at just over a length. Truly a Judge in the green colours has gone up to race in the 3rd position, been followed by Super Blitz on the inside, only a length and 3/4 off those leaders. Californian is the early trailer. Past the 3/4 pole they go. On the outside it's Total Impact. Got his ears pricked. He's enjoying himself out here as Total Impact. On the inside Lundy's Liability. They're still going a sensible pace out here. They lead at a length and a half. Truly a Judge is in 3rd. Inside of him comes Super Blitz in the orange. And now Californian has lost contact with him. He's last by 7. A half mile to go now in the Goodwood. On the inside, it's still Lundy's Liability. Total Impact up alongside of him. They've been stride for stride virtually from the opening of the gate. Truly a Judge is right there, 3rd. Inside of that, Super Blitz now starting to go after the leaders. And still a gap of 8 back to Californian. 5/16 to go. Lundy's Liability and Total Impact, they still stride for stride. A length and a half back to Super Blitz. We come down to these 3 in the Goodwood. Heads a turn for home now, and Total Impact on the grandstand side kicks on. Lundy's Liability hanging tough. He goes with him. On the inside, Super Blitz didn't quite get through. He's going to have to switch to the outside. Lundy's Liability, Total Impact, Super Blitz plugging away late from 3rd. Lundy's Liability, Total Impact going to hit the wire together. Lundy's Liability, 1 and ahead. Total Impact was 2nd, then Super Blitz, Californian, and Truly a Judge.
Lundy's Liability making his U.S. debut, a world traveler bred in Brazil. He had raced in South Africa and Dubai before arriving here. He's had some time since his last race, that coming in a victorious effort in the UAE Derby. Here gets a head victory over Total Impact with Super Blitz, having to change course late in the stretch to finish in the 3rd spot. The winner, Lundy's Liability, is a bay 4-year-old son of Candy Stripes from Emerald Counter by Geiger Counter, bred in Brazil by Stud TNT, owned by Slack and Stud TNT. Ridden to victory by David Flores, Lundy's Liability covers the 1 1/8 miles in 1:48 and 1. We're going to head right back to California now in the running of the Oakleaf Stakes for 2-year-old fillies. The final prep on the road to the Breeders' Cup for the 2-year-old California-based fillies, going 1.1 miles. Let's head back to California, get Trevor's call of the Oakleaf.
And away they go. Hello Lucky, and seeking the heat out very fast from the inside. No Bull Baby now sprinting up, and there's Nina Davina as they all sprint for that early lead. In behind that, Splendid Blended, who's taken a stronghold, throwing a head around now. Splendid Blended trying to be settled down, but carries them wide into the turn here. Culture Clash was forced to go very wide. In behind those two, we come back to Memoret, Fearless Flyer down at the rail, and Sweet Catamine traveling nicely, and the white cap has moved up 3rd last, only 5 off the leaders. They run past the 3/4 pole now, and out on the lead is No No Bull Baby. Tries to slow them down, but Splendid Blended still got a tight hold on the outside and puts the pressure on them. Hello Lucky between those two. Then we come back to Nina Davina starting to lose ground as Culture Clash goes up fourth. Here's Sweet Catamine in 6, 7 lengths off the leaders. Seeking the heat, drop back third last, then Memoret and Fearless Flyer. They have a half mile to go now in the Oakleaf. Out on the lead we have No Bull Baby. Up alongside Hello Lucky. Splendid Blended has relaxed now, is in the third spot. Only a length separates them. Then it's Culture Clash. Nina Davina can find no more. On the outside there goes Sweet Catamine. And Sweet Catamine is now making a nice run at them. And Sweet Catamine in the white cap. Is she just going to blow by them as they come to the quarter pole? It's Sweet Catamine now. She's just inhaled them with a quarter of a mile to go. Sweet Catamine, a huge run. Now, can she sustain it as she comes for home? Splendid Blended is second, but she's striding short. Memoret tries to run on in the centre of the track, but it's all Sweet Catamine in the Oakleaf Stakes. And Sweet Catamine, the daughter of Storm Cat, could not have been more impressive today. Sweet Catamine and Corrie Nakatani romp in the Oakleaf. Splendid Blended was second. Memoret finished third, and Culture Clash took fourth.
Sweet Catamine winning very nicely here, drawing off easily by 4 at 2-1, the second choice over second-time starter Splendid Blended. Memoret at 10-1. Rallies from well back off the pace after settling fairly easily early to run very, very well here. Culture Clash may be one to keep your eye on. She was carried wide early, made a nice middle bid before dropping back to finish fourth. The winner, Sweet Catamine, as Trevor said, inhaling this field, is a 2-year-old daughter of Storm Cat from Sweet Life by Chris S. She was bred in Kentucky by Mr. and Mrs. Martin Wygod, owned by the breeder and trained by Julio Canani. Ridden to victory by Corrie Nakatani, Sweet Catamine runs the mile in the 16th in 1:42 and 4. We're heading to the turf next for the Clement L. Hirsch Turf Championship for the older horses going along on the grass. Let's head back to Southern California, the Clement L. Hirsch.
And away they go. All broke away well. Star Over the Bay immediately setting off for the lead. Sarafan broke well but has now been taken back. Here's the Tin Man coming through at the rail to get second. Just in behind those two comes Balangari. On the outside, Bayamo in the red sleeves now going up to race into the third spot. And then we drop back to Vangelis, who's second last. Puerto Banús will be content to be the early trailer. Through the stretch first time round, and Star Over the Bay now opens up on them, goes clear by 4.5 lengths. The Tin Man is racing in the second spot. Balangari is down at the rail. Up alongside of that comes Bayamo, a joint third. Sarafan is fifth. Now a good 11 off that leader who's striding away from them. Vangelis is racing back second last, and Puerto Banús is last. Got to be a good 18 lengths off this leader. They run to the three-quarter pole. No turning back for Star Over the Bay. Now he's well committed. He's gone clear by 7, but is slowing them down. And Star Over the Bay not exerting himself at all. He's got a very big lead here, and he's just cantering onto the backstretch. The Tin Man is in second. Balangari third. They're starting to close on that leader now. In behind that comes Bayamo in the fourth position. Here's Sarafan fifth, and a good 12 off the leader. It's 2.5 more back to Vangelis, and at the back, Puerto Banús. A half mile to go now, and it's still Star Over the Bays, clear by 4.5 lengths. The Tin Man is second. On the inside of that, Balangari. Bayamo's been eased. Number 6, Bayamo's pulled out of the race. Bayamo's pulled up at the 3/8 pole. Then it's Sarafan. Behind that, Vangelis and Puerto Banús. They come into the top of the lane now, and let's see, it's still Star of the Bay, clear by 3. The Tin Man second. Sarafan is third. On the outside of that, here comes Vangelis with a late run too. An 8th to go, and it's Star Over the Bay. The Tin Man, Sarafan in the white cap, giving a game chase, and Vangelis. It's Star Over the Bay and Sarafan. Star Over the Bay digs deep, he finds more. Here's the wire. Star Over the Bay, a game win over Sarafan. Vangelis was third, then the Tin Man, Balangari, and Puerto Banús was last.
Star Over the Bay. You got to give this guy the award as the best claim this year. Back in May, this guy was taken for $80,000 at Hollywood Park by trainer Mike Mitchell. He is now 3 for 4 with Mike Mitchell, including this 1.25-mile victory on the turf in a Grade 1 front-running effort here as he opens up as many as 8 lengths. Just holding on by a desperate 3/4, but a win is a win. Sarafan coming hard to finish second. Vangelis just behind in third. In this race also, we did have a breakdown. Bayama, who was making a nice move as the favorite in the field, did rupture a suspensory. His injury is reported at this point not to be life-threatening. The winner, Star Over the Bay, is a 6-year-old gray or roan gelded son of Cozine from Latuya Bay by Empery. Bred in Florida by the Four Horsemen's Ranch and owned by G Racing, Carl Van Berger, and Howard Vaughn, trained by Mike Mitchell. Ridden to victory by Tyler Bays, Star Over the Bay covers the 1.25 miles on the firm turf in 1:58 and 3. We're going to head right back to Santa Anita now in the running of the Ladies Secret Breeders' Cup Handicap. This is a grade 2 for the older fillies and mares. It's drawn a very solid field. Let's head back to California, the running of the Ladies Secret.
And away they go to a perfect start. Barbara Orr is out fast from the outside gate, and Hello Love is showing early speed as well. Sister Girl Blues along the inside as a close-up third. Miss Lorraine going to tuck in fourth. Island Fashion quite content to drop back into fifth. Only 3.5 off these leaders. Keys to the Heart is taken back second last, and Summer Wind Dancer gets a tap on the shoulder here at the back of the pack. Now 3-4 taps, in fact, is 8 lengths off the leaders. They run past the 3/4 pole, and Barbara Orr taking a tight hold out here. The rider's trying to slow her down now. Not really flying, though. Hello Love in a beautiful spot right there, second. On the inside is Silver Girl Blues in the white cap. Outside of that, Island Fashion. They've slowed this pace right down now. Island Fashion just cantering along in fourth. On the outside, we have Summer Wind Dancer now gone up 4 lengths off these leaders. Then comes Miss Lauren. Inside of that is Keys to the Heart. They run to the half-mile pole now, and still out on the lead is Barbara Orr. Hello Love is second, Island Fashion in third. Down at the rail we have Sister Girl Blues, only 3 lengths off these leaders. Summer Wind Dancer making an early run, has to go wide out on the outside as 3 lengths off these leaders. Then Keys to the Heart and Miss Lauren. They come into the quarter pole now, and Island Fashion travelling well, and Hello Love. Hello Love and Island Fashion now take over nose and nose. Barbara Orr can find no more. On the outside, we have Summer Wind Dancer. She's been very hard ridden now, but she didn't fire today. Summer Wind Dancer's in deep water. Past the 8th pole they come. It's Hello Love on the inside and Island Fashion. Now Miss Lorraine coming with a late run on the outside, but it's Island Fashion and Hello Love, the two with 50 to go. Miss Lauren's closing fast on the outside. Here's the wire. Island Fashion gonna get there. Island Fashion are flying Miss Lauren, then Hello Love. Summer Wind Dancer, never happy today, was fourth. Then Sister Girl Blues, Keys to the Heart, and Barbara Orr was last.
Island Fashion, a determined victory here by a half length, fighting it out with Hello Love through the stretch. She was able to put that rival away, and by that point Miss Lauren had made her huge move. At the top of the stretch she was beaten about 6-7 lengths. Here finally gets there within the shadow of the wire, falls short by a half a length. Hello Love, very game in defeat to finish third. Favorite in the field was Summer Wind Dancer. It was a little bit flat off of a couple of very impressive performances, and some of her most recent efforts, perhaps a little bit of a class increase for her, might have been just a bit too much. The winner, Island Fashion, who had run poorly in her last 2 starts, those coming in the Apple Blossom this spring behind Azari, and the Yasuda Kainen in Tokyo in Japan, obviously given some time off and has come back in very nice form here and ready to step back up in company into the Grade 1 distaff. Island Fashion is a gray or roan 4-year-old daughter of Patienville from Danzig's Fashion by a native Danzig. Bred in Kentucky by Everest Stable and owned by the breeder, trained by Marcello Polanco, and ridden to victory in his first graded stakes win. Kerwin John getting the mount. Island Fashion covers the mile in the 16th in 1:43 and 2. One more Southern California stake to bring to you, that the Norfolk for the 2-year-old colts and geldings, a mile in the 16th in a Grade 2 company. Let's head back to California and get Trevor Scull of the Norfolk.
And away they go. The 4 runners all broke beautifully. From the inside gate, Forever Foxy's going to show the early lead. Little Bit of Zip now taking over and pulling pretty hard as well. Roman Ruler's taken a tight hold in the 3rd spot as well. He's keen to go on. Boston Glory will drop back last early on. They run past the 7/8 pole, and Little Bit of Zip goes along at a fast pace here. Roman Ruler's really keen to go on. He's taken a tight hold, tugging against the rider in second. Then we come back to Forever Foxy, who settled down third, 3 lengths off these leaders. And then it's 4.5 back to Boston Glory. Onto the backstretch they go in the Norfolk, and it's still a little bit of zip. Certainly ensured that it's an honest pace early. He leads it by a length and a quarter. Roman Ruler content to just track him in the second spot. Then we come back to Forever Foxy in third. He's now 4 lengths off those leaders, and a big gap of 7 back to Boston Glory. They run past the half-mile pole now, and it's still David Flores and little bit of zip in front, a length and a quarter. Roman Ruler's just continuing to track him from the second spot now. He's very comfortable out there. Then there's a gap of 2.5 lengths back to Forever Foxy. Boston Glory been ridden along but far back. Coming to the quarter pole now, and Roman Ruler now just breezing up on the outside. On the inside, little bit of zip can find no more. Here's Boston Glory trying to run on. They come to the top of the lane. Roman Ruler now by 5 lengths. Boston Glory's back in second, plugging away. He's trying to make a race of it. 1/8 of a mile to go. And Roman Ruler now is out here clear by 7 lengths. A very game Boston Glory chasing him home. But they would need to sprout wings to get to Roman Ruler. Roman Ruler and Corey Nakatani in a race of their own out here. Boston Glory a very game second. Then back to little bit of zip, and Forever Foxy finished 4th.
Roman Ruler simply romping here. The blinkers went on for this race. You see him in the dark blinkers there, picking up the 4-length victory. He was very aggressive early. I'm not sure if Bob Baffert wanted quite that reaction from this colt going into the first turn with his mouth wide open, but Corey Nakatani was able to get him to settle off a little bit of zip. Top of the stretch, he opened up about 4 and romped from Blaze of Glory, who made up a fair amount of ground on the far turn. Little bit of zip. Holding on for third, Forever Foxy, trailing most of the way. The winner, Roman Ruler, a dark bay or brown 2-year-old son of Fusaichi Pegasus from Silvery Swan by Silver Deputy, making him a half to El Corridor, Grade 1 stakes winner, was bred in Kentucky by Needham Betts Thoroughbreds Liberation Farm in Ashford Stud, owned by Fog City Stable and trained by Bob Baffert. Ridden to victory by Corey Nakatani, Roman Ruler runs the mile in the 16th in 1:44.1. We are going to pause now for one more brief message, and when we return, we'll be taking a look at this weekend's racing action from Belmont. Please stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Mark Cassano. Join Mike Veach and me Saturday morning at 10 for Down the Stretch. From now right through the Breeders' Cup on October 30th at Lone Star, join us each and every Saturday morning as we bring you the best in racing coverage. We'll have our normal topical discussion. We'll have our race reviews, a number of major stakes races leading up to the Breeders' Cup, and as always, we will have interviews with the top names in the game. And whether we're here in studio or on remote from the Albany Teletheater, time permitting, we'll open up the telephone lines and invite you to join us. So all of that and more if you join Mike Veach and me Saturday morning at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the Off Track Betting Television Network.
Welcome back, everyone, to Horses and Courses. We're going to continue now with stakes racing action from Belmont. 4 Grade 1s on Saturday, kicking off early as part of the stakes program with the Flower Bowl Invitational. 3-year-olds and up fillies and mares in Grade 1 company. Let's head to Belmont and the running of the Flower Bowl.
And they're off. Humida breaking well toward the inside, and Moscow Burning taking some initiative here as they race for the first turn. Wonder Again was away in good order third. Heading for the clubhouse turn, and Moscow Burning will be the early pacemaker. Wonder Again just to her outside. Humida tucks in behind the lead. Commerçant is fourth, and Risk Averse is up close early. She's only 2 lengths from the front runners in 5th position. And then it's Indy 500, 3 wide and 6, followed by Aubonne, and Filmmaker is the early trailer. So Moscow Burning takes the field through the early stages here on an unchallenged lead, and Jose Valdivia's got a pretty good hold of her. She waltzes through the opening quarter in 25-2. Wonder Again under a long hold remains second as they begin their run up the backstretch. Humida hugs the hedge in third. Commerçant is in the clear while running along in fourth. Risk Averse has a good spot early. She's drafting in behind horses, rating comfortably in 5th position. Aubonne tugs her way up 6 toward the inside, followed on the outside by Indy 500. 500, and Filmmaker content with that position at the back of the pack in this fairly early stage in the race. So, Moscow Burning continues to lead the way. 52-2 for the opening half mile over the off-going here, but she really was allowed to just waltz through these opening stages here. So with a half mile to go, it's going to be a sprint to the wire from here on in. And Moscow Burning has been sailing through the opening stages here. Wonder again is second. Commerçant poised on the outside third. Then at the inside, it's Humeda fourth. Risk Averse is still only about 3.5 lengths from the lead. Obone and Filmmaker and Indy 500 trailing the field. They're coming to the top of the stretch. And Moscow Burning streaking past the quarter pole with the lead. Wonder again and Commerçant both set down for the drive. Humeda toward the inside is fourth. Risk Averse is cut loose. 1 furlong to go. Moscow Burning driving on that lead. Commerçant is coming to her now. Commerçant, Moscow Burning, nip and tuck down to the line. Risk Averse, Obone in traffic, down to the finish. Commerçant short lead. Risk Averse surges to win. Risk Averse has won it by 3/4 of a length. Commerçant was second, a three-way photo for third among Filmmaker. Also right there, Obone for the third spot, and Moscow Burning.
A bridesmaid in her last two and getting the victory here by 3/4 of a length. A little bit overlooked in the betting is Risk Averse. She had been second in the Diana and the Beverly D. If the Beverly D winner Crimson Palace had been here, she'd have been the favorite. So Risk Averse certainly looked like a nice price at over 8-1. Camercanti running well to finish second in here for Bobby Frankel, her third U.S. start. Moscow Burning ships in from the West Coast to avoid the yellow ribbon and here sets the early pace and runs third after tiring a bit late. Favorite in the field was Wonder Again, who gave futile chase in the early going before backing up, perhaps not as fond of the yielding surface here at Belmont this season as she had been earlier in the year. The winner, Risk Averse, is a 5-year-old dark bay or brown mare, a daughter of Dynaformer from the Bink by Seeking the Gold, bred in Kentucky by Fox Ridge Farm. Owned by Fox Ridge and trained by Pat Kelly, Risk Averse will probably now head to the Breeders' Cup Filly or Mare Turf with a nice Grade 1 win under her belt at the age of 5. Ridden to victory by Cornelio Velasquez, Risk Averse covers the 1.25 miles on the yielding surface in 2:04 and 3. From distance fillies on the turf to sprinters on the main track, next up the Grade 1 6-furlong Vosburg for older sprinters. Let's head back down to New York and get Tom Durkin's call.
And they're off. Watch him, Smokey gets off to a good beginning. There goes Speightstown with his early speed. Pico Central on the outside. And Cornelio Velasquez is keeping Cajun Beat right there with his spot at the rail. So they race for the far turn. Speightstown, Cajun Beat. And on the outside, Pico Central. Pico Central's now second. Cajun Beat couldn't quite keep up in this first furlong, and he's a length and a half off the lead. Then Voodoo and Watch Him, Smokey. 22-3 for the opening quarter. And Speightstown blazes the way around the far turn. Victor Espinosa's got a good hold of Pico Central, sitting off from second. Here comes Longshot Voodoo on the outside. Cajun Beat just in behind the lead, and stretch running Watch 'em Smokey is only 4 or 5 lengths from the lead. And now the field turns for home. Pico Central on even terms with Speightstown. Cajun Beat right there on the inside. He cut the corner. Voodoo and Watch 'em Smokey wide open here coming into the final furlong. And Pico Central is roused to the lead. Pico Central in front. Speightstown can't stay with him. Cajun Beat down toward the inside, and they're coming down to the finish, and it will be Pico Central. A dominating effort here, winning by 4. Voodoo got up for second. Speightstown checks in third.
Pico Central taking advantage of the pace scenario. I had some questions as to whether or not this guy really was a 6-furlong horse, but here he showed a nice amount of patience under Victor Espinosa as he goes out there with Speightstown, duels it out, and takes command at the top of the stretch to draw clear by 4. Voodoo gets his nose, actually gets about a half a length in front of Speightstown at the wire. Speightstown battled on fairly well as the odds-on choice to finish third. The winner, Pico Central, third last time out in the Pat O'Brien, but 2 impressive victories prior to that, is a 5-year-old dark bay or brown son of Spend a Buck from Sheila Purple by Purple Mountain. Bred in Brazil by the Aras Fronteira PAP and owned by Gary Tanaka, trained by Paulo Lobo. Ridden to victory by Victor Espinosa, Pico Central covers the 6 furlongs at Belmont in 1:09 and 3. We're going to head on to the turf now for the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic, the race for many years known as the Turf Classic. Joe Hirsch's name was added this year in honor of his recent retirement from the daily racing form. It is a Grade 1 for 3-year-olds and up at 1.5 miles on the grass. Let's head down to Belmont Park and get Tom Durkin-Skall of the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic.
They're in the gate, and they're off. Request for Parole and Kick and Chris breaking well from their inside posts, and there goes Maktub, showing a little enterprise early, and Maktub on the outside of her short lead. Kick and Chris, though, right there with him. Request for Parole reined in to run in third. Magistretti fourth on the outside, and then it's Kitten's Joys in behind horses. Tycoon off a bit slowly today, and Polar Summer at the back of the pack as they make their way into the first turn. So Maktub is the pacemaker, with Jorge Chavez nursing him on that lead through a quarter in 25 seconds flat. Kick and Chris up pretty close to that pace today. Right there, second on the inside. Magistretti is third behind this easy early pace. And then together our Request for Parole. Kitten's Joys in the clear on the outside. And Tycoon, Jamie Spencer, riding high on him. And the trailer is Polish Summer after a 1/2 mile in 50 4/5 seconds. They make their way into the backstretch run now. And Maktub continues on an unchallenged lead. Magistretti under stout restraint here with 7 furlongs to go. Second on the outside and in no hurry to move yet. Kick and Chris is also under a good hold. Kitten's Joy remains in the clear. Request for Parole down toward the inside. Tycoon is moving up alongside him, and Polish Summer is the last of them all here with 6 furlongs remaining, and Polish Summer is still about 7 lengths from the lead. They continue down the backstretch. They're halfway down the backstretch run now, and it's still Maktub and Magistretti. 3 quarters in 1:17 and 1. It's been a pokey pace so far, but the cadence is starting to quicken as they approach the far turn. Maktub now gets a little nudge there from Jorge Chavez. Magistretti is right there with them with a 1/2 mile to go. Kick and Chris called on for running, switch to the outside as Maktub starts to give way. Kitten's Joy is right there on the outside, is now running in third. And Request for Parole is moving through in between horses. Tycoon on the outside is only about 3 lengths from the lead, and Polish Summer, and they're moving toward the top of the stretch. And it is Magistretti who is in control. Targeted now on the outside by Kitten's Joy. Kick and Chris right there in behind. And Tycoon is ready to roll. And the field turns for home. And Magistretti now accelerating. Magistretti opens up. The lead is a length. Kitten's Joy set down for the drive. And here he comes now. Oh, and he's got plenty of run. Kitten's Joy taking the lead with an impressive turn of foot. Oh, my. Kitten's Joy just blowing Magistretti away, and Tycoon. Oh, this is a very good 3-year-old. Kitten's Joy wins by 3 emphatic lengths. Magistretti was second, and Tycoon was third. Farther back, Request for Parole was fourth.
Kitten's Joy kicking clear. The 3-year-old getting the victory here is the second choice in the wagering behind Magistretti. Magistretti may not be at his very best at the 12 furlong distance here. Kitten's Joy trying it for the first time and loving the distance. He kind of dragged John Velasquez into contention on the far turn. Johnny V got him to settle fairly nicely in his first mount, first time aboard this horse, and kicked clear by 2.5 over Magistretti. Tycoon, who had run up against some pretty good company while campaigning in Europe, ran well from the top of the stretch home to finish third. The winner, Kitten's Joy, is a 3-year-old chestnut colt by El Prado from Kitten's First by Lear Fan. Bred in Kentucky by Ken and Sarah Ramsey, owned by the breeders and trained by Dale Romans. Ridden to victory by John Velasquez, Kitten's Joy runs the 1.5 miles on the yielding surface in 2:29 and 4. Next up, of course, the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup, the race that back in the day used to be the Breeders' Cup Classic, the one everybody wanted to win. It is still a Grade 1. It's 1.25 miles now for the older horses. Let's head back to New York and the running of the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Domestic Dispute, and there goes Love of Money now, and he's going right after the lead in the first 100 yards. Love of Money over to the rail with the lead. And there goes Funny Side, very sharp today, very keen, and he wants to get to that lead. Jose Santos wrangles him back to run in second. And it's 2 lengths back. Newfoundland is third on the outside. Domestic Dispute under a good hold, running along in fourth. Evening Attire is fifth, 5 lengths from the lead. Bowman's Band just about to pass him. And the Cliff's Edge is the early trailer here, but it's a very tight pack. And Funny Side has tugged his way up to lead the way. Funny Side in front. Love of Money second on the inside now and countering to come back after that lead. So a chess game down the backstretch here at Belmont, and Love of Money has reclaimed the lead from Funny Side. Newfoundland right up and on the pace there, and he's on the outside third after a half in 47 and 3/5 seconds. Domestic Dispute fourth toward the inside. And the gray evening attire is in between horses, only about 4 lengths from front-running Love of Money. Then Bowman's Band to his outside, and stretch running the Cliff's Edge is the trailer as the field enters the far turn. There goes Newfoundland with the 3-wide bid after the lead with a half-mile to go. Down on the inside, Love of Money. Funny Side still on hold, but back to third. In the meantime, here comes the Cliff's Edge. And the Cliff's Edge is a rallying fourth on the far turn. Funny Side is stopping. It's Newfoundland now going head-to-head with Love of Money. Newfoundland on the outside, Love of Money at the rail. Funny Side under a drive, but he's now back third toward the inside. And the Cliff's Edge is now fourth. And farther back, Evening Attire, he's still 6 lengths behind. Newfoundland comes off the turn with the lead. Newfoundland in front. But here comes the momentum of the Cliff's Edge on the outside. And Funny Side, who dropped back to third on the far turn, is coming again down to the final 16th. Newfoundland, Funny Side fights his way to the lead. The gutsy gelding, indeed. Funny Side has won with unwavering determination to defeat Newfoundland and the Cliff's Edge.
The winner, last year's Derby winner, Funny Side. An exciting run from Funny Side. Did go up there and attempt to duke it out with Love of Money. Jose Santos took him back, got him out of there when a couple of horses began to look like they were making their bid. In fact, on the far turn, Tom Durkin made the announcement that Funny Side was dropping out of it. But who was that re-rallying between horses at the top of the stretch? None other than Funny Side, in a position on the racetrack that's not his favorite part of the track, the in-between position. Nonetheless, he manages to fight through for a 3/4 length favorite victory. He was just under 3-1, and he was the choice in this field of 7. Newfoundland, who I had been trying to pick up a win with all year long, looked like he was making a winning bid until Funny Side found another stride. The Cliff's Edge made his usual grinded-out move from the back of the pack. In fact, got to what looked like nearly a winning position before coming a cropper. It was announced after the race that the Cliff's Edge did suffer a fracture, possibly taking place around the top of the stretch, according to Gary Stevens, his rider. He has been retired and will be heading to the Vinery to stand stud. The fracture does not appear to be anything terribly serious and certainly is not life-threatening. The winner, of course, the local hero, Funny Side, a 4-year-old chestnut gelded son of Distorted Humor from Bell's Good Side by Sluicide, was bred right here in New York. In fact, foaled not far from me in Saratoga County. Bred by the Windstar Farm Limited here in New York, owned by Sakatoga Stables, trained by Barclay Tagg, and ridden by Jose Santos. It does appear that the next stop is going to be the Breeders' Cup Classic for Funny Side, who, despite having had a hard time picking up victories this year, has certainly put together a very, very good campaign. Funny Side, ridden by Jose Santos, back in the irons, completes the 1.25 miles at Belmont in 2:02 and 2. We're going to tie right into the New York Bred program with a win by Funny Side on Saturday afternoon and a pair of New York Bred stakes races on Sunday. We're going to start with the Joseph A. Gimma for New York Breds. This is New York Bred 2-year-old fillies going 7 furlongs. Let's head back to Belmont. Tom Durkin's call.
And they're off. And Swither comes out in stride. Brassy Boots away second. Megascape on the inside third. Hoosick Falls is out fourth. Social Virtue is fifth. Royal Fudge sixth, and on the inside Earhart is seventh. Ready for Rubies eighth, and in between horses Skyloper is now ninth, and Pelham Bay is the early trailer. Racing up the backstretch, Megascape and Swither going at it head to head. Brassy Boots couldn't quite keep up with those two, is a length and a half behind them in third position. Hoosick Falls on hold while fourth. The pace is rapid, a 22 flat opening quarter around the far turn, and it's Megascape on the inside. On the outside, Swither, and those two still going at it head to head. Brassy Boots just outside the leaders now in third. Hoosick Falls is now under the whip and has dropped 4 lengths from the front. Then Royal Fudge coming through on the inside of Social Virtue. Farther back, it's Earhart as the field turns for home. Here comes Brassy Boots, mulling willingly on the outside. Brassy Boots on the outside, and Megascape. Megascape, though, still in front as the field turns for home. Brassy Boots is second. Swither's been dueled into defeat. On the inside, Royal Fudge. On the outside, Social Virtue. 1 furlong to go, and it's all Megascape, who's opened up now by 4. Brassy Boots comes through on the in-between horses, and down toward the inside, it's Royal Fudge. On the outside, Social Virtue. On the wire, Megascape. Wins it by almost 3. Social Virtue was second, and Royal Fudge was third.
Megascape getting the victory here in a very impressive effort. This was a horse that had shown a good turn of alert foot early here. John Velasquez hustles her into a little bit of a duel with Swither in the early going. She puts that rival away and holds sway by 3 1/4 lengths as the choice over Social Virtue at 13 to 1. Long shot Royal Fudge rallies from back off the pace to finish third. The winner, Megascape, a dark Bayer Brown 2-year-old daughter of Cape Canaveral from Bigger Half by Megaturn, was bred in New York by Says Who Thoroughbreds. She's owned by Robert Beck, trained by Steve Asmussen, and ridden to victory by John Velasquez. Megascape covers the 7 furlongs and in 1:25 and 4. Next up, 2-year-old Colts and Geldings going in the Bertram F. Bongard. Once again, $100,000, 7 furlongs the distance. Let's head back to Belmont Park from the running of the Bongard.
And they're off. Carmenuch comes away with the early lead, and from the inside there goes Caribbean Cruiser. And Caribbean Cruiser, the favorite, up for a short lead. Carmenuch right there with him on the outside, second. Up Like Thunder races third. Big Apple Daddy 4 wide, fourth. Geyser Road 5 wide, right up on the pace, and fifth. Then it's Accurate, sixth, and down toward the inside, followed by Fred of the Cap and Distinctive Trick. A very tight pack here. 4 1/2 lengths from front to back. And up front, it's the favorite, Caribbean Cruiser. Up Like Thunder second. Carmenuch under a rod in third. Big Apple Daddy continues 4 wide. Geyser Road continues 5 wide. Accurate has room toward the inside. Here he comes now, and he's moving up a couple spots. Followed by Freddy the Cap and Distinctive Trick. 3 furlongs from the line. They ran a half in 46 seconds flat. Caribbean Cruiser, short lead. Up Like Thunder right there with him on the outside. Fred of the Cap sent up on the far outside, rallying wide from third. And Accurate is fourth. And the field turns for home. Up Like Thunder takes the lead. It is Up Like Thunder in front. Caribbean Cruiser gives way second. Fred of the Cap third. Accurate fourth. The others are well behind. And they're in the final furlong. And Up Like Thunder is opening up on the field. As Fred of the Cap moves to second, Caribbean Cruiser continues to wilt. And Accurate on the wire. Up Like Thunder, the emphatic winner. Freddy the Cap was second, Accurate was third.
Up Like Thunder getting a nice victory here. This guy, in only his 3rd career start, has never finished worse than second. He broke his maiden in his 1st career start and went on after that effort to run a very good second last time out. Here allowed to go off at almost 6 to 1, as most of the money showed on Caribbean Cruiser shipping in from Finger Lakes after running 3 for 3 out there. But Up Like Thunder blows the doors off of that rival in mid-stretch to win by 4 3/4 lengths over Freddy the Cap, with Accurate making up quite a bit of ground to finish third. Favored in the field, Caribbean Cruiser, the odds-on choice, finishing 4th in the field of 8. The winner, Up Like Thunder, is a dark Bayer Brown 2-year-old son of War Chant from With a Wink by Clever Trick. Bred in New York by John Hettinger, owned by Eckendale Farm, and trained by Nick Zito. Ridden to victory by Javier Castellano. Up Like Thunder covers the 7 furlongs at Belmont in 1:24 and 3. That's going to wrap up an exciting group of racing from this weekend. Major racing in Europe as well at Longchamp this weekend. They ran the Grade 1, Group 1, Arc de Triomphe, and it was won by a horse named Bago, a very impressive 3-year-old who is expected to come to the United States. He will be expected to compete in the Breeders' Cup Classic, so it should be a very interesting 3-year-old race in the Breeders' Cup Classic this year. That's going to wrap up this week's edition of Horses and Courses. Thank you for joining me this week. We hope you'll be able to see us again next time at the same time on the same channel. Until then, I'm Jean Wood. Have a great week at the races.